Good morning, everyone. We cannot stop our children from catching a cold, cough, flu, and other infections. However, there are certain things we can do to reduce their chances of getting these. Answering all of your questions in today's live session is Apollo's expert pediatrician, Dr. Satheesh Chitapuram, with over 30 years of experience in the field. And today, he will be discussing some common health issues in children. So do not miss out on today's special episode of the Health Hour series. See you guys at 11 a.m. on Apollo 24/7's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Join us with your friends and family for the live session today. The link is given below.
It's always been there, standing between you and your health. A wall, between a pain that won't disappear and a doctor who magically appears. Between a long wait on a hospital bench and staying right where you are, at home. Between finding yourself out of medicines and finding them at your doorstep, whatever the time. Between years of health records all over the place and all your records in one organized access from anywhere place. Between your current regimen and the recommended routine. The wall. We don't need it anymore. Say hello to Apollo 24/7. This is India's largest end-to-end omni-channel healthcare ecosystem, designed to touch more lives than ever before and delivering its promise in 3 important ways. 1. Listen. Talk to us anytime from anywhere. We've got 7,000 doctors and 30,000 healthcare professionals listening. 2. Advise. We'll give you expert advice you can rely on, because it comes from India's #1 healthcare provider. 3. Assist. We bring you India's largest health network of pharmacies, clinics, hospitals and health insurance experts. 20 million people already trust us for their care, and a further 50,000 people are discovering this every day. Apollo 24/7. Expertise is for everyone.
Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm super excited to be a part of this one-of-a-kind live health hour show, which has helped so many viewers connect with leading Apollo experts even during the most difficult times. Through the health hour, Apollo 24/7 aims to bring the best doctors from Apollo hospitals to your homes every Sunday so that you can discuss your health concerns and get answers to all of your health-related queries live. And if you want to avail the entire range of services by Apollo hospitals from the comfort of your home, I strongly urge you download the Apollo 24/7 app. Here you can book virtual consultations with the best Apollo doctors, order your medicines online, and even get home sample collection for your lab tests, all with Busic Tap. Let me also tell you about the wonderful Saving a Child's Health initiative by Apollo Foundation that aims to provide the best pediatric care to children in need at no cost. So if you wish to know more about this, please check the description box or scan the QR code on your given screen. Coming back to the show, today we are here to discuss a very important topic, all about children's health. I'm sure a lot of us have so many questions like, why are mental health issues rising among children? Is it cold, flu, or something else? And what does new COVID variant mean for children? To answer all of these questions and more, we have Dr. Satheesh Chitapuram, Senior Consultant Paediatrician at the Apollo Children's Hospital, Chennai. So start typing your questions and we will take them up with Dr. Satish C one by one during the course of our show. Also, watch out for the quiz right after the live Q&A session where you can win exciting gifts, discount vouchers and much more. Let me introduce Dr. Satheesh Chitapuram to you guys. He's got over 35 years of experience in providing medical care for infants, children, and adolescents. Area of special expertise in treatment of infants and newborns. Proud winner of the Dr. G.V. James Prize in Clinical Surgery, Dr. Samuel Jesudas Prize in Pharmacology. Indian faculty at Royal College of Practitioners in Child Health, RCPCH. Faculty in State and National Pediatric Conference since 2013 and past president IAPCCB. Thank you so much, Dr. Satheesh, for joining us today. It's such a wonderful pleasure and an honor talking to you, and I'm really looking forward to this next 1 hour and all of your insights.
Thank you, Ms. Vidya, for a nice introduction. Thank you again because you are here to add color, flavor, and glamour to the show. And I think there'll be an academic extravaganza in the next 1 hour, and let us see what best we can get out of it, the show. And I thank the Apollo
Thank you.
247 team for giving me this opportunity. And that too, to have the questions from you, I think is a greater experience for me.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much, Doctor. You're very kind. Okay, I'm going to get into the questions right away. I have so many of them actually coming up on our chat today. Let me just start with what are the common problems associated with children, infants, and adolescents?
Yeah. Madam, just see, there are only, I'm dividing into 8 sets of problems. Just like Ashta Dikpalakas, who are guarding the planet Earth from 8 areas, 8 corners. 8 angels are there. So similarly, there are 8 issues that probably once you are able to get control of these 8 issues, you have the child health awareness and child health is well guarded. One is breastfeeding, growth monitoring, immunization, complementary feed, child proofing the house, understanding the red flags in development, common infections and ailments, and the last is that yearly checkup once in a year to the doctor dedicatedly for just health checkup rather than for any problem solution. And that will be addressing lot of other things which are not at all discussed in the day-to-day consultation. A dedicated health visit for health checkup. These are the 8 things which are the common challenges in the child care. And if you want to stream me through, I can just give you a brief introduction of each one, or if there may be questions regarding each aspect of them in due course, whichever is.
Of course. If you would like to say a couple of lines about each one of them, it'd be great to hear from you, Doctor.
Yeah, one is the breastfeeding. So breastfeeding, I think it is, though they say it's something tradition, but only about 50 to 56% of the mothers, which babies are exclusively breastfed. And it was actually appallingly low values when in 1980s, and it was just a great service and great work by our predecessors, by our fathers of pediatrics, who really set the trend for it and revolutionized the whole thing and caused a revival, renaissance in the breastfeeding practices. Now it's about 56. Previously, it dwindled down to about 28%. So next is about weight monitoring. See, Indian Academy of Pediatrics has got a beautiful chart. This is one chart that will just show you display. And so this is available on the website of Indian Academy of Pediatrics. And this is a growth chart, and which every parent can really download it. And it's available in blue color for boys and pink color for girls, where color coding also is there. For 0 to 5 years and 5 to 18 years, 2 different growth charts are available that will monitor the growth. So any centile which is rapidly increasing, any centiles which are rapidly falling, probably will give you a foretell the onset of the disease, or that some disease which is still asymptomatic is existing, and that will open the floodgates for early diagnosis. Third thing is about
Right.
immunization. Immunization has been well orchestrated, structured vision is there right from Government of India and also from Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Complementary feed is a confusing thing which has been standardized by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and there's a beautiful website. Everything is clear in all the Indian languages, what that relevant to the Indian conditions, talking about Indian traditional foods. Child proofing at the house will avoid many accidents when the child during child rearing. Is to tell one or two that how to prevent electrocution injuries, what should be done to prevent scalding and burn injuries, what should be done. These are things which could to prevent fall from the bed. I see the baby who is child
Correct.
who is grown to about fifth month or 6 month is rolling over, and therefore such a child there must be a gate, or there must be a safety panel must be there attached to the bed so that the child doesn't roll. And so it is relevant at that age to have the safety panel attached to the cot. Similarly, the stairgates where they can avoid fraud. This is called child proofing, and where it's also a well
Correct.
structured thing is available, and understanding the red flags in development. So, say for example, the infant, 4 months old infant, doesn't turn towards the direction of the sound when called. I think should be alerting the parent that there's something wrong with the hearing. And when addressed early before the age of 6 months, it can be completely all made all right. The deficit will not be there in the
Oh,
rest of the child's life. So if the opportunity is missed at the time, probably something will be long lasting impact will be present. So these are the red
right.
flags which you should, the parent has to become aware of the red flags. Even that red flags also we can get to know from the doctor during immunization checkups. And the last is about common infections. See, every season there are certain, for example, last year we gripped with COVID. Now in Chennai we are facing the problem dengue fever. Dengue fever now seems to be
Right.
all about, you take 50% of the case fever conditions, if you lay there at least various severities of dengue fever, and therefore the parents have to be aware of how to prevent dengue disease, simply by preventing the mosquito bite. And then last one, what I told you, the
Correct.
eighth one is about yearly checkup.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think one of my questions you've already answered. I was going to ask you about the red flags in the child development. So I'm just going to move on then. Tell me, is a chubby child a healthy child? Because this is what my mother used to do all the time to me. I was always a skinny child. And it used to be like, oh my goodness, why is she so skinny? She's so skinny. You know, you were just, of course, now everybody thinks I'm skinny and also it's nice. But while growing up, I think because I was a chubby child, because I was a skinny child, I was always like pointed fingers at. So is that a good thing? Is it a boon or a bane?
Audio in
Can we hear, doctor?
Yeah, doctor.
Um,
Yeah, now I'm able to hear you.
yes,
There is some audio interruption in
yes.
between.
I was going to ask you, is a chubby child always a healthy child? Because when I was growing up, I was not chubby at all, and I was always pointed fingers at. So I really want to know: is a chubby child a boon or a bane?
Yes, the chubby child, actually, the parents think it is a boon, and in fact,
Yes.
it should be set at a proper place. That's why I told you about the growth monitoring. And see, this is a chart which says that for the weight, for the height, and for the head circumference, and chubby child refers to the weight parameter, and therefore to
Correct.
think that the child is growing up into the higher centiles and becoming obese, I think is something that they think that it's a success of a good nutrition given by parents to the child, maybe to some extent, but ultimately the obese child is always a morbid child, and therefore obesity has to be addressed very very early. Let
Right.
me say, the chubby child is not always a healthy child.
A healthy child.
So you
Exactly.
should,
Yeah.
yeah. Secondly, that
Hmm.
the obesity is something which uh, has its onset. as early in infancy, and therefore that infancy onset has to be understood correctly. So if
Right.
you plot, when I told you about weight monitoring, if that is plotted against, the weight is plotted against the age in months, and there, if it is taken through, and if it should be always be traveling, that line must be traveling along the 50th centile, which is the correct growth. And suppose if it is crossing the centile from 50th centile line to 75th centile, 90th centile, that means that this
Right.
child is heading for obesity. So, but probably
Okay.
that is very, it's important for the parents to understand that this does not always mean that is a success in child nutrition. But there has to be some trimming, some of changes made in the child's diet, and make the
Right.
line come back to the 50th centile. Mhm.
Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you for that, doctor. My next question would be about the working mothers. What are the tips for working mothers to sustain optimal breastfeeding? Now, this is a problem which all of us working moms experience all the time.
Yes. Actually, there's a nationwide active revolution in favor of breastfeeding, and all of us pediatricians are supporting the cause of breastfeeding, and facilitate
Correct.
what should be done to the working mothers. So now, actually, there is a mother's absolute affection. So that program is there, made by the government of India, where that the mothers are given paid leave for at least 9 months from the day of delivery. And therefore, till the day of 9 months, there should not be any challenge about the sustaining the practice of breastfeeding. And thereafter, of course, we suggest that the baby be breastfed at least up to 18 months, if wishfully till 24th month. So that is the upper
Was
limit for the
2 years.
breastfeeding, 2 years. And therefore, this practice has to be sustained, and working mother beyond 9 months has to be facilitated for them. And so there are, in even workplaces, there are places where the mother can have the privacy to go and or sit in the feeding room to feed the baby if it is not far off. If the workplace is not far off from home, probably someone can carry the baby and give it to the mother, and mother can feed and come back, and that is allowed by legislation, that the employer has to provide that facility. Second, if it is not feasible or practical to carry the baby, and the mother, what mother can do is to express and the breast milk and give
Correct.
it. She can just feed until she leaves home. And if it's about 8 hours of work, and for 8 hours, by the time of ninth month, the infant will be taking some complementary feeding also. There may be need for giving only supporting for just about 2 feeds. Each feed may be about 150 ml, and the 2 feeds have to be kept. So the expression of the breast milk. So we will be teaching the mothers about how to express and how to store.
Right.
Expressing breast milk is just using the hand hygiene precautions, and taking a sterile glass bottle or a stainless steel bottle.
Yes.
We do not advise plastic bottles.
Plastic
And
bottles. Oh, that's such a
no.
great point.
Yeah, and the mother has to express it and keep it. And after expression, the if it is going to be used within the next 4 hours, the milk can be stored in the room temperature. Or if it's going to be longer than that, it can be kept in the refrigerator. It is not necessary
Right.
to really freeze if it is not going to be used. If it is going to be used within the next 12 hours. If it is going to be
Oh,
used after 12 hours, then it should be frozen. And when after
frozen.
freeze, when it giving at the point of giving, it should be thawed. THAWED, thawed. Thawed means
Correct.
that you have to take that container and put in a water bath,
Bring
a
it.
hot water bath,
Right.
and do not directly heat the milk, and it should be kept in that. And with the radiant heat coming from the hot water into the container, the milk which is frozen comes back to the liquid state.
Absolutely. Wonderful. That was really insightful, doctor. Thank you for that. The next question would be, what are the most common symptoms in children which could be fire brigade emergencies?
Madam, a very expertly framed question. And so this is one thing which I always wanted to tell. But see, there are certain symptoms which will be appearing in the growing child too often. and which are these symptoms always may not need immediate attention. For example, the child who is incessantly crying, there are
Ah,
various occasions where a 4-month-old child may be crying incessantly for various reasons. Many of the times,
reasons, yes.
the reasons are simple, which could be sorted out at home. But at the same
Right,
time, there could be fire brigade emergencies, which could be this is a telltale evidence for something happening inside. I'll tell you one example.
correct,
Actually, if a child who is having simple colic will be crying, the child who is having a surgical condition called intussusception will also be crying the same way. It is impossible for the
correct,
parent to know. So, if any child who is inconsolably crying for more than 30 minutes, not able to console with the usual methods, mother is an expert to console the baby. Therefore, how to comfort, how to hold, which is the best way, how to burp, and how to
yes,
if it is too much drape, undrape. If it is not underclothed, to clothe it. If there is any problem with the diaper, wet diaper, change the diaper. If there is any ant bite somewhere, look at so many things which mother uses her common sense and all sorts of problems. If anything which is going beyond 30 minutes only, the doctor is consulted. And therefore, there are three, four
right,
emergencies which are really fire brigade emergencies. One, one is intussusception. Second is the obstructed hernia. The hernia, there may be a lump in the groin, maybe which may be the first appearance itself could be with obstruction, or hernia could have been there all along, and which doctors will be telling that electively get the child operated, but suddenly there can be obstruction, which means the only telltale evidence will be the incessant crying. So what I'm trying to say, one is incessant crying beyond 30 minutes. It could mean a surgical emergency. Please consult the doctor if it
right,
is happening for more than 30 minutes. There. Second, a pain in a non-verbalizing child is crying again, particularly looking at pointing the diaper area. So if it's a verbalizing child, he will be saying that I have pain here. He'll be pointing to the area where
correct,
there is pain. The non-verbalizing child who is aged less than 3 years will be only pointing to the diaper area. And so see if there is a the scrotum in a male child having lodging the testis can toss, can twist around its own axis, and so
control,
that there
yes,
also there will be pain in the child will be pointed to in the diaper area showing the discomfort. If you look at it, there will be some redness. Parents may think that it could be some ant bite or something, and therefore may take time to come to the doctor. Think apply some massage, apply some foment, apply some ice, or giving some sedation. And sedation may be really calming the child for a while. But if 6 hours are
correct,
lost, and therefore the torsed testis, if it is not detoxed by a surgical intervention, the testis will vanish in due course, and the testis will not function at all. So the loss of an organ, the risk is there in the
right.
kidney. And so,
Oh my
so
God,
incessant crying in a non-verbalizing child, more not sorted out for more than 30 minutes, is one symptom which a fire brigade emergency.
correct,
Vomiting, that too, if it is yellow colored or bile stain vomiting, this is again an emergency, which means that there's intestinal obstruction. If there's blood in the stool, please consult the doctor. Then it could be meaning and in some surgical case like intussusception. If it is there is a headache in a manner never experienced before in a verbalizing child, and so this called thunderclap headache, which means that there could be a bleed in the brain. But the headache, particularly in the occipital is this region. Suppose if the
correct,
headache is there, so that has to be evaluated, not like dismissing it as something that due to keeping awake for long and all like that. But that particular area that should be evaluated. Then the these are the important emergencies,
right,
uh, which I think what and the another
correct.
thing is a
And
child who falls unconscious. So, for example, many times if you any child who is taken to they'll, we are, very often we see a running race, a school running race. There, one child suddenly becomes syncopic, giddy, and falls. So We may be thinking that because of the race, running race, exertion, the child has got this fainting.
Correct.
But exercise
But
induced fainting, you have to think of cardiac problems. So that should be always looked
oh,
into earlier.
right. So moving on, we're just going to take questions from. I have a lot of questions coming in, so moving right into it. The first one is from Ms. Shweta Karedi. How to improve immunity power in kids?
Madam, the immunity power. See, immunity. There is something is God given immunity. What is called innate immunity. So in Tamil we say "Thai வீட்டு சீதனம்." So it is something like Sridan, which mother passes on to the child, and therefore this is like a gift. That is the innate
Correct.
immunity which is present by God, nature, blissful nature. So
Hmm.
there the that is innate immunity. Next is adaptive immunity, which is given by vaccination, previous illnesses. Previous illness will give some antibodies. For example, if one gets a common cold from which one recovers, that influenza what or rhinovirus which causes this common cold produces antibodies, and that gives an adaptive immunity. So innate immunity is something which is already given as a gift by nature. And second thing is adaptive immunity is one thing which you acquire by previous infections and vaccinations. So, how to innate immunity? There are. It is not with any particular diet, and it is the diet and lifestyle which are the ones which promote, nurture this innate immunity.
Correct.
That has to
Absolutely.
be upgraded by lifestyle practices. Lifestyle again means that the good 8 hours of sleep, avoidance of screen addiction, and proper nutrition, which means a balanced diet, maintaining the weight profile in the correct centile, and this is to enhance innate immunity or Indian adaptive immunity. Things together is the immunity.
Absolutely. Moving on, Doctor, Ms. Shweta says, my child height is 78 centimeters and at age of 20 months. Is there any abnormality?
75 centimeters is the height of a child.
78.
81.5 coming to 87.5 is the height of a 24 months child. 20-month child stands in between. So affected between uh, age 85. So 78 is just a borderline, and I think she
Right.
can. This needs only the monitor line goes on the growth graph. Now, at that point of time, I can't say the child is 100. It is little lesser. The centile is little lesser, and then we have to see anything between third and 95th, seventh centile is normal. Therefore, this has to be. We have to monitor the growth and follow up the child's height centile.
Right. So nothing to worry about, Ms. Shweta. I think it's borderline is also okay. You just need monitoring for the child now. The next question
Yeah.
is from Ms. Sarang Pani. My granddaughter is 13 months old. She has not started babbling. I'm worried. Is there anything wrong?
13-month-old not started babbling, I think definitely needs to be evaluated. Usually, that's a time when at least speaks about a minimum of 10 to 20 words. And is this child, Mr. Sarangapani, is this child understanding the spoken speech? Say if you say hi to say hi, where is mama? Pointing to the mama. Say gesturally say goodbye. The child is able to reciprocate. All these things
Right.
are happening. Understanding the spoken speech, if it is present, then that you have to verify that. And definitely, this child needs evaluation of hearing, and at the same time going through all the milestones in other domains of development also.
Right. I hope that answers your question, Ms. Arangpani. Moving on, we have another question from Mr. Satyajit Das. My daughter is 17 months old, but was not started walking yet. I'm worried. What can I do?
Yes. Usually, the child cruises at the age of 12 months. Cruising means holding on to the bottom to
Crawling.
without about age. So 17th month,
I think the connection is a
then
bit of an issue
automatically,
here, doctor. Can we hear you? Yes. Are you there with us, doctor? Are you here with us, doctor? Yes, I can see him, but I think the internet connection is not exactly amazing. So, at 12 months, uh, at 12 months, a child, as doctor was saying, is supposed to be cruising, which I'm thinking probably means that, starting to crawl a little bit. But I think we just get on and this is what I as well feel like moving, like whatever doctor was saying before to build a child's immunity. I think what he was talking about. Oh, there he is back again. Hello, doctor. Can you
yeah,
hear us?
yeah.
Happy to have you
Yeah.
back here again, doctor. You were saying that at 12 months the child should be.
Yes, 12th month the child will be cruising, and 17th month child definitely is a deficit if the child is not walking, needs evaluation by a neurologist.
Oh, definitely. Okay, so there you go, Mr. Das. Your question answered. Next question is from Mr. Satheesh Saraf. My 10-year-old daughter is suffering from fever since the last 10 days. Only half of the body shows fever till waist, and the rest is not showing is showing normal temperature. All reports are normal, including RT-PCR, Vidal, malaria.
Yeah, madam, any fever which is extending beyond the 5 days has to be diagnosed. And if the 10th
Correct.
day fever not is sorted out, I think this child needs to have a detailed in-person consultation with the pediatrician.
Consulted.
And you've
Right.
already run through a battery of tests and probably ruled out some conditions. There were so many other conditions also which have to be ruled out. A good
Hmm.
clinical physical examination in person, and probably running through a battery of tests. Many tests may not be always, they may have an equivocal value. For example, Vidal test doesn't rule out typhoid altogether. It may be equivocal.
Right.
Therefore, I think you have to combine the clinical findings and available input from the already done tests and planning new tests, and then supporting the child with interim medications. So this child needs immediate in-person consultation.
So I don't understand one thing. I've never really seen this. Is it possible for half of the body to have fever and the other half not have fever? Does
No,
that work?
it doesn't happen.
That's work like that.
Probably it is
Okay.
just clothing. The core temperature is more. Generally, if you look at the extremities which are not fully clothed, they may be feeling little colder. But core of the
Cold.
body,
Okay.
like
Right.
for example, forehead, tummy may be feeling warmer. The
Right.
we can sort out that problem using a grown up. This is if it's a grown up child about 6 years, you can put an oral thermometer or even ear thermometer can be taken. That is taken as a
Correct.
representative of core temperature.
Okay. This is the next question from Mr. Bhagwan Behra, and I think all of us would really want to know this. Good morning, sir. I have two kids. One is 7.5, and the other one is 2 years old. Please suggest how to protect from COVID. I've seen my sisters also asking us this because they are going to be traveling to India shortly, and uh, we're just worried.
See the COVID, by using this same that's hand hygiene, mask, and safe distancing are the only three things which are the three pillars of protection and prevention from COVID. And the eligible people in the family, in your family, have to be vaccinated. The eligible age for the vaccination for COVID. Please do not miss anything. And if you have to practice only these three things, whatever be the age. For the child who is 3.5 years, may not you may not be able to give a mask to the child. The other child who is 7.5 years can wear a mask and go.
Correct.
And now that schools are reopened across the country, and from even in Tamil Nadu, from tomorrow, the schools are getting reopened, and therefore, I think practicing these three things, that is the hand hygiene, mask, face mask, and safe distancing, and giving the vaccination to all the people around is going to be helpful in preventing the transmission of infection. In children, please do not worry. Even if there is any COVID, it is not that symptomatic. And previously, we were challenged with one condition called MISC, which statistically is becoming insignificant now with this new variant.
Okay. 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 That sounds a little reassuring. So the next question is from Mr. Karthik Raja. He says, "Shall we provide fruits to the kids in the uncertain and changing climate?"
Yes, fruits.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes, there's something which is really the boon from the nature, and therefore there have
I
been
was
a lot
just
of
going to say that.
there are a lot of
It's a
misconceptions
God's
about
gift.
consumption of fruits. So fruit are not at all connected with coats. The fruits are rarely the cause of allergy in children. Of course, there are stray cases which are the exception. And thing is, fruit has some amount of properties. For example, always say papa means orange, avocado, orange, and this apple is so these are five fruits are supposed to be making you alert.
Okay,
Thyroid
no, one second, doctor. I
contain
think again, I'm missing hearing you properly. Would
the
you kindly repeat that? Is
fruits
the internet again?
for
You were
always
saying about the five
say
fruits:
orange, pea, papaya, pomegranate, and apple.
orange, papaya,
These are the yeah. These are the five
orange, papaya,
fruits:
apple, and
pomegranate, avocado, and
avocado,
orange.
and and okay, have we lost doctor again?
Yes.
So I've got papaya, orange, apple, avocado. Okay, so doctor was talking to us about the question that Mr. Raja asked, fruits and children. I personally think that anything that nature gives you, it is for us to consume, and I also think that there is so much that we give the cokes and the candies to children. Instead of that, if you can sort of start giving fruits, that's just the most amazing thing. I think I have grown up, me and my sisters have grown up on fruits, because there weren't as many of these chemical induced products back then. And it's absolutely amazing to understand and to realize that what nature's got for us today, if we start kids. I mean, I've seen my friend's daughter, who literally about 2 years old, picking up an apple and starting to eat it just like this. And I think that's absolutely wonderful, because most times I will look at children wanting to go for candies or a pizza. There's nothing wrong in that once in a while. Of course, everything should be had and enjoyed. But I think it's very important to understand that when nature has provided us with, oh, their doctor's back again. So I was just
Yeah,
taking over from that. The
yeah,
five fruits you were saying, which were
yeah,
great for the brain.
yeah, madam.
So I
Actually, there
got
are
papaya, orange, apple, avocado,
pomegranate, pomegranate.
pomegranate. I love it. Yes.
Yeah, these are the five fruits which can be given in all seasons to all people, to anybody and everybody. This is the fruits which are to be consumed in the mornings for keeping the brain alert, because there is one amino acid called tyrosine, which keeps the brain in the alert mode. There are three fruits which can
Wow.
be eaten in the night. They are BCG, banana, cherry, and grapes. If these are served in the evenings,
Oh,
probably they are tryptophan
you
mediated,
see.
tryptophan dependent, and there's a moment
Yes.
of mental relaxation which is necessary for the night sleep. And
So this is a really, yes. Go on, doctor.
Then regarding that, there are each fruit has its own blissful content. For example, pineapple is the one which contains maximum amount of manganese. So
Oh,
and
really?
a small amount of magnesium. And so these are the trace elements. The
Magnesium.
simple rule will be you take any three colored fruits and you give them assorted in the cut fruits that will be given to
Correct.
every child, be it at any time with chosen for the child. That's all. So that is applicable for all seasons, all the time. The OPAPA for the morning, BCG in the evenings.
Wow. O Papa in the morning and BCG in the evenings.
Yeah.
And colored fruits. Like I always keep telling all my followers that eat the rainbow every day at every
Yes.
meal. The
Yes.
antioxidants that you get out of a rainbow
Exactly.
diet. eh,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were saying as well. So, what Mr. Raja wanted to know is if I give these fruits to my children, will it cause cold?
It will not.
But
The cold has no connection with consumption of fruits.
with the
That
fruit.
it is
Right.
very very rare. It's an exception, not a rule, and therefore the general rule is allow consumption of the fruits, and in fact encourage the consumption of fruits.
Consumption
Cold
of
doesn't
fruits.
matter.
Exactly. I think whatever is natural really helps the body instead of going the unnatural way and eating packaged food, right?
Yeah, that
Especially
a
in
small
fruit.
pinch of turmeric powder can be added to the milk, and that can be given if there is an apprehension. And after taking, I always tell after taking the bowl of fruits, sometimes the mother is or is always confused, and grandmother says that it can cause cold. That's what she tells me, and then I just say a remedy. And you after eating the fruits, you give the child a small cup of milk with added turmeric powder, and that's a
Turmeric
good
in it.
antioxidant, and that will take away the cold caused by food if you think that it causes it. It doesn't cause, in fact.
Okay. Okay, perfect, doctor. Moving along now. How to recognize children have mental problems? This is a question from Miss Vasudha Rani. And a very important question and
Madam,
relevant today.
very good question. Very good question. Very relevant. Hmm. See, those were the days when grandparenting was a dominant factor in upbringing of the child. But these are the days when
Yes.
the parenting only is there, grandparenting probably from remote. So it is important for the mother to know that which are the deviants in the development to really alert about mental health. So see,
Hmm.
these deviants, there are so much complicated things that happen during the child development. It's amazing to see that there's so much. There are a billion neurons in us, and each neuron can make 15,000 connections. And therefore, so much of connections are made in the infant's brain as a baby is getting growing up and still seeing so many things, and all the connections are not really nurtured. Some get pruned off when they are not used. So ultimately, it's a jugglery of so much of connections, and it's important to streamline everything. So it's simple. One is if there are two areas where you have to know the red flags. One is the autistic child has to be picked up early. So any child that is the if you that's why I said yearly once you have a general health checkup for all these
Checkup.
things. 18 to 24 months is a time for autism screening. The autism screening is done by a questionnaire which is given by the Government of India, Ministry of Health, which also is available in the website, is also given by Indian Academy of Pediatrics, it's available in IAP website. So it's simple 20 questions. So your doctor will administer those 20 questions to the parent, and from there you can know you do screening for autism. There are only two things. Autism, any socially not interacting child doesn't have name call response at the age of between 12 to 18 months. Is a child which is deviant in the social development, and the one who is repetitive and restrictive behavior. These are the two things. If these two things are there, suspect autism and take to the doctor. This is one important thing which should be diagnosed early. So the clue is that the child doesn't respond to the name calls. The child inattentive to the call names, but attentive to some of the different types. So say, for example, at TV music, a phone bell ringing, or cooker which is making the kind in the kitchen. Certain things distract and child looks around, but not when called. And this eye to eye contact is missing when the child talks. And these are the two things. That's why I said if there's a socially not very interactive, and secondly, if it is a repetitive behavior. If you say, "Mama come, Papa come," he again say, "Papa come." But so this is called repetitive behavior. If these two things are there, suspect autism. That's one important clue which I want to give you. Second,
Right.
if the another important thing is around the hyperactivity. So many mothers say, "My
Hmm.
child is
Yes.
hyper. My child is hyper." So hyperactivity is something where it's very difficult to label the child as hyperactive. There are three things have to be there along with hyperactivity. That is inattention and impulsivity along with hyperactivity. If three things are there, then it is attention deficit disorder that has to be
Correct. ADHD.
addressed. Both area, madam, yoga, and to improve the concentration, and all with a behavioral therapy. So understand any child who is too much going after things, you have to know. No, no, you should not do. The child has to understand. For example, the child is to the grandfather and take dropping it to the ground. So one more, please don't do. And so the child should not be done. See the child does to another child. No, that this is a hybrid. The child gets the label. The enforcement, discipline.
Okay, I think we've lost Doctor again. Well, I think what we were coming to was what Doctor was suggesting was remedies for ADHD. He was talking about, I mean, we're talking about the mental health issues with children, which we see quite a few these days. First, of course, is the autism that Doctor explained to us very beautifully. And the other bit which he was saying was the attention deficit disorder that we see a lot now. And I think he was also suggesting yoga, and even I would recommend something like that a lot. A few yogic practices would be amazing for. There we have Doctor back again. You were talking about ADHD, Doctor,
Madam,
and what we can do, what parents can do.
about same thing is ADHD school. Yeah. So it be identified and dyslexia for this will be if there is a discrepancy in written and oral performance, and think of dyslexia. The child who is not doing well,
Dyslexia.
not doing well in the written test, but doing well in the oral examination, oral test, is able to speak, give the answers, but not able to write. Then this dyslexia, and this has gone
Correct.
into a little in depth, and we have the child has to be helped. So I will say only thing, the enforcement of the discipline by the parents has consistent, and all the members in the should do the same thing. And is the lot of avoiding us gadgets, screen gadgets have to be avoided, exposure to gadgets, particularly until the age of, though they pay,
Yes.
say up to 2 years, they need to give it. And uh,
What you're saying, up to
the
2 years, no screen time at all.
no screen time, no screen. If there is a
Yes.
thing, if the songs are not known to us now, how they can hide, put on the phone or screen video, let the audience, other can make the lip movement. She's that should be so no screen time. One is, second is the our training at the age of 18 months, and ADHD screening at 5 years, dyslexia screening at the school.
I think we've lost him again. I think what I could gather from what he was saying is again, dyslexia, ADHD, or hyperactivity, and autism are the three things in the mental space that we should be careful about. And like one of the things that I have seen a lot happen is screen and gadgets, even when they're infants. I think this has happened even in my family, that it's easier for the mothers to let them watch a TV screen or a phone screen, so that they eat, or they don't sort of trouble the parents as much. But I think that sort of is the onset of hyperactive mechanisms in the child's brain. And I think, like, well, there we are, doctor, again. Moving along, I'm going to take the next question, doctor, with you.
Yeah.
Ms. Lalita JS has asked this. What is the solution to protect newborn babies from coronavirus? Any medicine or any healthy practices? Please share.
Actually, no medicine. Then usually the mother who is COVID positive can get the COVID infection from the mother, and otherwise the mother has to be protected from the after birth if there is no COVID positivity during the confinement period and during the hospitalization period for delivery. And after that, the mother has to be protected so that the baby doesn't contract. There's no special medicine for protecting the baby from COVID.
The infant from, right. The next question is from Ms. Shama Ara. How safe to send children to school nursery to 6? I mean, I think maybe her child is 6 years old. And how safe is it to send children now to school? Because I think most parents are worried about just this one thing so much
Yes.
now.
I think do not refrain from sending the child to school because enough standard operating protocols are available. Well or nicely structured protocols are available to maintain the safe distancing, hygiene, as well as wearing the mask. Above 6 years, your child is 6 years, the child can also wear the mask and go. And uh, there are procedures, protocols, and standard operating practices are there to prevent the spread of COVID. And therefore, please fall in line. Always send. No need to refrain from sending. Don't be apprehensive.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
yeah.
Doctor, with that, I would really like you to share your top tips with us and our viewers today. What are your top tips for children's
My
healthcare?
top tips are always, madam, that ensure breastfeeding, correct complementary feeding. Take the clues from the Government of India, Ministry of Health website, vaccination procedures, and also add on the vaccines from the IAP schedule, Indian Academy of Pediatrics schedule, to give immunity, what is called adaptive immunity. The correct the understanding the goals of development, understanding the red flags in development and identifying them. Then is about identification of usual stigmata of infections which are available, which are epidemiologically prevalent, and have a health checkup at least once in a month, not for particular problem, but for a holistic checkup and also assessment. These are my advices to the parents of all the children.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today and for giving us such useful tips. I'm really, really honored and really grateful for you to answering all of our questions today. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, madam. It was nice experience. I'll remember this experience with you as the anchor forever, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. You're very kind. Well, viewers, now it's time for our quiz, and I hope you guys are ready. Let me give you a tip. These questions will be slightly easier to answer if you have the Apollo 24/7 app on your phone. So let's go on with the quiz now, the health quiz. It's very simple. You can answer the questions over the chat. Winner's name will be announced at the end of the show. Winners to mail their contact details at marketing@apollo247.com, and the gift vouchers will be shared with you. So there goes. The first question here would be, how many bones are babies born with? Once more, how many bones are babies born with? Second question, when is National Child Health Day observed? Once more, when is the National Child's Day Health Day observed? I'll repeat that again. When is National Child Health Day observed? And the third question is, which feature on the app allows you to book blood and urine tests on Apollo 24/7 app. Once more, which feature on the app allows you to book blood and urine tests on the Apollo 24/7 app? So do answer your questions really quickly. We have something amazing for you this festive season. Apollo 24/7 gives you a chance to make your Diwali extra special. Now, you can get a flat 25% off on your first 3 online medicine orders. So don't stop at once. Save thrice with the coupon code FIRST3, that is FIRST3. Order now on the Apollo 27 app and the website. And before we move on to announcing the winners, I have a very special message for all of our viewers. We are well into our festive season, and this year, finally, there is happiness and positivity all around. Let's not forget that it's only because of the hard work and the sacrifices of our frontline workers that we are where we are today. We have put together a little something to show our gratitude to our heroes, and we hope that they too get to celebrate festivals with their loved ones this time. So please find the link to watch this in the description below. For every share on the video, Apollo 24/7 will contribute ₹100 to Saving a Child's Health Foundation. So let's come together and do our little bit for this good cause. Could we have the audio visual, please?
Surprise! इस बार मैं भी
मम्मा मम्मा पापा
इस बार मैं भी
ईद मुबारक भाई। इस बार मैं भी।
इस बार मैं भी।
इस बार मैं भी।
इस बार हर कोई मनाएगा त्योहारों की खुशियां अपनों के साथ। पिछले 2 साल से हमारे फ्रंटलाइन वर्कर्स की बदौलत ये मुमकिन हो पाया है कि हम सब अपनों के साथ हर त्योहार की खुशी बांट सके। इस बार हम आशा करते हैं कि वो भी त्योहारों की हर खुशी अपनों के साथ मना सके।
What a lovely little heartwarming film that was. And in case you guys have any questions about any health concerns, you can use the special coupon code HH247 and get ₹199 off on online consultations and 15% off on medicine orders placed on the Apollo 24/7 app. And now it's the time for the big moment, the winners of the quiz. So here goes. The winners are Abhinav Kumar, Falkirat Singh Brar, and Chista Mishra. Congratulations to all our viewers and to all our winners, and thank you so much, each and every one of you, for joining and participating with us today. I hope that you found this information shared useful and would follow the amazing tips shared by the doctor. We'd like to say goodbye here, and we'll be back with another important topic and an Apollo expert next Sunday at 11 a.m. So stay tuned and keep wearing that mask to stay safe. Goodbye and God bless.